My old car is like new again. Let me explain. I'm Chris from Auto Academics, and today I'm going to show you how to get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto into an old car like mine thanks to a cool device from a company called Carpuride. So typically when you guys see me, I'm driving the latest and greatest new cars. But in reality, when the camera stops rolling and I'm in my personal car, I'm driving this. And the tech in this thing is pretty archaic. But now I have a solution, and it's called the Carpuride W103 Portable Smart Multimedia Dashboard Console. Not the best name as it's listed on their website, but when Carpuride reached out to me with claims of what it could do, I was happy to review it, even if there was a bit of skepticism involved. Also, please know that while Carpuride sent me this device free of charge, my thoughts are still my own. So if you didn't know, my car is a 2011 Cadillac CTS wagon. It's 12 years old, and while the tech in it was fine for back then, honestly it was pretty decent. Today, it is painfully outdated. Now let's take a look at the product itself. You can see that it was double boxed and packaged well for discreetness and protection while shipping. And looking at the contents, there's an instruction booklet, a suction cup mount, some other mounting plate for what appears to be hard mounting, a 12-volt USB-C power cord, a 3.5mm aux cable, an adhesive mount, and the display. The screen is 10.3 inches in diagonal and is an IPS display with a resolution of 1280 by 480. On the rear you'll find mounting slots, a speaker, power button, and plenty of vents. On the side there's a 3.5mm mic input, a TF or micro SD card slot for music and videos, a 2.5mm cam input jack for supported rear view cameras, a 3.5mm audio out jack, USB-A port for data transfer and mobile phone charging, and finally a USB-C power jack to supply power. So now that we're inside the car, setup wasn't that bad. As I mentioned earlier, the device comes with different ways to mount the display, and I chose to use the suction cup mount. The suction cup is sticky, which initially made me a little concerned because I don't like putting adhesives on my car. However, this is more of a reusable adhesive, so you get the benefits of the stickiness without the negative sides of it staying on your vehicle. Once I had a plan, it probably took me about 10 to 15 minutes to install, and that's just because I've got a bit of self-diagnosed OCD. The instructions in the booklet encourage you to adhere it to your dash, I assume for regulations in different locations, but when I began testing that, I learned that my dash pad is a little bit flimsy, and I didn't feel as though it would hold this large device very securely, so I decided to mount it on the windshield. I got the windshield mount as low as possible so that the display doesn't obstruct my view, attached the display, then adjusted things so that the display kind of rested on my dash for a bit more support. And it appears to work great. If I press on the display, it has very minimal movements, all of which is totally acceptable in my opinion. Now, as we start the car, you'll see that the device automatically powers on since it gets power from the 12-volt outlet, and it automatically powers off again when I shut off my car. You can manually turn the device on and off again with the built-in power switch too. Connectivity was about as simple as it gets. Initially, I was trying to connect my phone to it via Wi-Fi, but then I realized this Carpuride display simply connects to my phone the same way that every new car that I review with Android Auto connects. It literally was that simple. I pushed the Bluetooth button on the display, then opened up Bluetooth on my phone, the display showed up, and I clicked on it. It asked me to pair, I clicked yes, and that was it. Android Auto was ready to go. And it looks exactly like Android Auto on the new cars I review. It's the current version, it's widescreen, you have multiple layouts, and you can still choose all of your individual apps as well, such as maps, streaming, music, messages, phone, and even SmartThings for my Samsung device. The initial transitions were a bit stuttery, but now that everything seems to be loaded in properly, you can go from one app to the next very smoothly without any issues at all. In the settings, you can adjust brightness, set your clock, as well as adjust the EQ for your audio, which is great so I don't have to change any of the standard radio stations for my car for sources like satellite radio and CD. Yes, my car is that old. But anyway, I can make adjustments specifically for my streaming apps on the Carpuride display itself so that they are separate from those in-car settings. There are wired connections as well for your device, but again, the wireless was so seamless that as long as you have a fairly newer device, Apple or Android, I don't see why you wouldn't use the wireless connection. Speaking of wired connections, since my car is so old, I did not have any Bluetooth audio streaming capability for the built-in radio. Because of this, I do have to use a cable that connects to my car's aux jack to listen to audio from my phone. This also means I have to use an aux jack going from the Carpuride display to the car so that I can listen to streaming audio in the car. I'm used to that and I'm okay with it because that's how it's always been in this car. It's my understanding though that if you have a slightly newer car that can stream audio through Bluetooth, Carpuride has devices that can take advantage of that without the need for an aux cable. Using Google Maps while streaming audio from my phone, all of the navigation prompts come through the car speakers as well. Unfortunately, if I'm listening to satellite radio that's built into my car, I do have to disconnect the aux cable so that the map directions will go through the display itself because they're no longer through the car speakers. Again, another downside to the age of my car, not the display itself. I do wish the audio from the display could play a little bit louder, but other than that, it's clear. You can also connect the audio through FM transmission, where you use an obscure radio station to receive the audio signal from the device. This feature was more common about 20 years ago, and while it's another possible way of connecting, hopefully you'd never have to use that. But if your vehicle is old enough that it doesn't have any Bluetooth capabilities, it's there. While driving, the display is clear with large accessible buttons on the touchscreen, and it has a built-in light sensor to adjust the brightness based on your environment. Now, all isn't perfect. The speaker is located on the back of the device, and I'm not sure where the mic is, but when you're using Android Auto in a car like mine, both the navigation directions and any phone calls will go through those 2 points. The problem is that road noise, wind noise, or any type of noise coming from the car will be just as loud as your voice since you're a considerable distance away from both the mic and the speaker. Plus, on phone calls, my voice sounded like I was talking on speakerphone from far away. Hopefully, in future revisions to the device, Carpuride could make the speaker a bit louder, as well as better position the microphone for clearer phone calls. That being said, I was able to come up with a hack to improve the microphone quality. I connected a mic that I use when I'm doing my motorcycle reviews while wearing a helmet to the 3.5mm jack, and it improved my voice considerably on phone calls. It's nice to see that Carpuride included a microphone jack, but hopefully in a follow-up revision of the device that won't be necessary. If you can't tell, I'm extremely pleased with this device, and with the exception of the A Auto and iPlay labels for obvious copyright reasons, it is exactly like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay that's built into new cars you can buy today. Again, I like it, and it's a product I'd spend my own money on. So if you think you'd like to spend your own money on one, I have an affiliate link as well as a discount code for 15% off in the description below. I also get a small commission if you use it, but as you saw in this video, it's a product that has transformed the tech in my car. So, question, are you guys driving cars as old as mine with limited Bluetooth capabilities? Do you have no Bluetooth at all? Or are you one of the fortunate with all the Bluetooth goodies and Android Auto and Apple CarPlay? Let us know in the comments section below. So, there you have it, guys. My review of the Carpuride W103 Android Auto, Apple CarPlay display. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss what we have coming up next. Plus, it helps the channel out a ton. I'm Chris from Auto Academics. Thanks for watching. Tell me a joke.
Why won't shrimps share their treasure? Because they're shellfish.